Freshwater aquariums usually include plants. Most tropical fish come from river and lake environments where plants are plentiful, so it only makes sense. Whether live or artificial, plants offer a place for fish to hide and feel secure. They'll also make your fish tank look much nicer, and can create a realistic natural habitat for the inhabitants of your aquarium. But which are better? Real, live plants, or artificial plants? The truth is that both have their positive and negative points. Your choice as aquarium hobby beginners will depend on those pros and cons and deciding what is most important to you. Here are some of the pros and cons of real plants and fake plastic plants. When it comes to aquatic plants, some are hardy just like a bulletproof jacket. There are many that require high light output or supplemental carbon dioxide injections just to survive. Not these 10 plants, however. These plants not only survive but often thrive without much consideration at all. This is a top 10 list of easy, low-tech plants that will grow in almost any aquarium. No light, no fertilizer, no problem. Anubias can grow under almost any conditions. Their tough leaves mean they are often not tasty to plant-eating fish, and their long root growth means they can be tied down to driftwood quite readily. Keep in mind that tying down this plant and keeping its roots exposed in the direction it should propagate or grow is done by cutting the rhizome where new growth has occurred to make a new plant. However, despite being quite resilient little plants, the growth is exceptionally slow. You will not have to trim this plant often, as it may take years to see any appreciable expansion. There are many varieties of anubias and they are all equally easy to care for. Perhaps one of the easiest floating plants to cultivate in aquariums besides duckweed is hornwort. It often explodes in growth with very little input. It makes great cover for fry as it is very bushy. It does well in hard water conditions and makes a great oxygenator for aquariums and ponds. It is fairly cold tolerant and prefers calmer water to thrive. The only downside to hornwort is that it grows so fast it can often choke out an aquarium, so it must be trimmed fairly regularly so that you can see your fish. Much like anubias, Java fern is a slow-growing rhizome plant that prefers to be attached to driftwood or rocks. It also comes in a few different varieties. Some have narrow leaves while some have more broad or forked leaves. It is also pretty tough for even the most herbivorous fish to consume. Therefore, Java fern is a very versatile plant and a great addition to any freshwater aquarium. It even goes well in some brackish aquariums. Java fern can either be propagated by cutting the rhizome or by waiting for tiny new plants to grow from the leaves. Ndamas grass is also referred to as guppy grass, because of its usefulness in tanks with live-bearing fishes. It creates excellent cover for fry and other small fish as it grows in the water column. It is a floating plant, so simply place it in the water and watch it take over. Propagation of Ndamas grass is as easy as pulling apart a portion and moving it to another aquarium. It's not fussy about lighting and does not require fertilizer to grow quickly. Subwassertang is a type of plant that will grow freely on the bottom of aquariums. Subwassertang is an exceedingly easy plant to keep. It is especially appreciated by shrimp and other fishes that search food in the substrate. It is slow growing, but undemanding in terms of light and nutrients. Simply place a clump of it in your aquarium and watch it slowly spread over time. Taxiphyllum barbieri, or Java moss as it is known in the trade, is an ideal plant for spawning fish and raising fry. It can also attach to surfaces to make an easy, decorative piece. Best of all, it is super low maintenance, requiring very little light and nutrients to thrive. Egg-scattering fishes love to use clusters of Java moss to spawn over. Fry often can find microorganisms and tasty morsels amongst the greenery. It can quickly spruce up any aquarium and can even withstand brackish or terrestrial conditions. Shrimp also relish picking through the moss. The ultimate background plant in aquariums, Vallisneria grows tall leaves and will quickly spread across the tank via runners. It grows so tall, in fact, that it often needs to be trimmed to keep from curling over the surface. It is not demanding in terms of lighting and often does not require additional fertilizers in well-stocked aquariums. Sagittaria looks similar to Vallisneria, but stays much shorter, making it an ideal mid-foreground plant. It also spreads by runners and can quickly carpet the substrate. It doesn't mind hard water and doesn't require intense light. It is recommended, however, that you do not mix Sagittaria with Vallisneria in the same tank. One will tend to outcompete the other. Although Cryptocrane species are known for melting when moved from one tank to another, they quickly recover back and can be very fast-growing once established. Cryptocranes come in rich dark brown or green colors and most species do better midground. They grow in plugs and can be pulled apart when they get too thick. No special lighting or fertilizers are required, although they are appreciated. Duckweed is such a prolific and easy aquatic plant that it is actually seen as a nuisance to many aquarists. It can very quickly go from a few floating specks to covering an entire aquarium. A similar plant, Salvinia, can also take over and grow without any effort. Water lettuce, while typically grown outside in ponds, can do well in indoor settings. It will not grow as large or robust, but it can be another easy floating plant option. Water lettuce grows massive roots that extend into the water column, creating a neat biotope aesthetic. It can provide cover for fry to hide amongst, and the roots make great places for fish to lay eggs. With so many easy plants available in the hobby, there is no excuse not to have a planted tank or two. It does not require a huge investment in lighting, fertilizers, substrates, or CO2 to have a little green in your aquarium. Aquatic plants make aquariums look more natural and can help improve water quality by eating up nitrates and adding oxygen. As long as your water chemistry is good and you don't have fish that will tear up the plants, there's nothing standing in the way of success when you add any of the easy plants discussed above to your aquarium.